give Tuscaloosa some flexibility in the event they wanted to allow someone to have an alcoholic beverage on site a little earlier than noon. Delegation has requested of me that if Northport is interested in doing that we act fairly quickly and let them know that as well, so they could handle it one time rather than two. Now, if you would care to, you've got very short notice on this. I did not know on Wednesday when we put the agenda together how far along Tuscaloosa was. They have not yet advertised a bill or had one drawn up, so if you want to wait and take this up at your council meeting on May 6th, that's doable as well. It's kind of cold tonight. The bottom line is you can't do anything as far as when alcohol can be served on Sunday. You can ask the legislature to give you the ability to do that. You cannot set the hours unless the legislature were to allow you or Tuscaloosa or both Northport.
Thank you, Ron. So you were saying that you didn't think Tuscaloosa had moved any progress with moving their resolution yet back to the delegation?
What they've done is they have passed the resolution similar to this one, and they are still studying that. They have not started advertising. Any proposed bill would have to be advertised for 4 weeks. What I did not want to do was to slow them down, since the legislature wanted to handle it one time, either for Tuscaloosa only, and then Northport keep what it has, or handle it for Tuscaloosa and Northport. Basically what you're talking about is giving you the option of allowing alcohol sales before noon by 1 hour or 2 hours in the future if you decide you want to do that.
All right, thank you. Again, out of respect to what Ron just said, I didn't know if a member of council wanted to either wait. If not, we can move forward with this proposed resolution giving Northport the option or the ability to change the hours based on the Tuscaloosa delegation introducing legislation. So again, member of council, floor is open. If not, we can go through the motion in second if it pleases.
I think since this is just asking for legislation to be presented in Montgomery, that there's no harm, no foul for us at this point. Go ahead and do it and get the paperwork going. When the time comes and it comes back, then we have the option to further notice to decide then if we want to vote to allow that in Northport or not. At least this just gives us the option at a later date to look at it. So I don't see any harm in looking at this point. My personal opinion, I'll offer this up for a motion.
All right, that's a motion by Councilman Hogg. I'll offer for a second. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, Mr. Higginbotham.
Councilman Hogg?
Yes.
President Logan?
Yes.
Councilman Hinton?
Abstain.
Councilman Davis? Motion carries.
Consent agenda, we have 22 items that range from minutes of the previous meeting, bill listings, travel and training, couple PO requisitions from Mallory Brockhalter, and some training going to AAFM Spring Workshop in Coleman, Alabama. Again, I'll make this motion to approve the consent agenda as printed. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Hinton. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, Mr. Higginbotham.
President Logan?
Yes.
Councilman Hinton?
Yes.
Councilman Davis?
Yes.
Councilman Hogg?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item 9, reports of special committees to council. We do have one listed on the agenda, but before we get into that, I want to make sure if there's any member of council or the mayor's office wanted to offer up some updates from their respective committees. We have one from the administrative committee that's on the agenda, and I know if a member of council wanted to offer their respective committee.
I would like to say from the retail committee, this week it was published and notified that Aldi will be coming to Northport. I think everybody probably already knows that by now. Be on the property at Lowe's. They'll have a couple of acres, I guess there, which we still have 35, 36 plus acres still left to be developed. I think that's a good news for Northport. The mayor, council, retail committee, everybody's worked very hard on attracting new business, and that is definitely one that a lot of our citizens have requested and asked for, and hard work of this council and mayor, we were able to make it happen. And I just wanted to say I appreciate every one of you up here, and retail committee, thank you.
I think this is very good news for Northport, and it actually shows that we can look at attracting some national retailers. So this is very big news, and I hope to be having more announcements. I think the mayor's office is working hard, like Councilman Hogg said. We poised ourselves to do some really big things with retail in the next few months. So this is very good news with that Aldi announcement. Any other committees wanted to offer up some updates before we go into administrative? All right, under administrative, I'll call on Mr. Rose, I think, on our HR. But I do want to say, before he kind of gets into his spiel on the handbook update, council has done a really good job. I want to call out Councilman Roberts, Councilman Davis, Councilman Hinton has even put his hands in it. So it's a really good document. It's a working document. So you're about 99% done. Ms. Rose, can you give us just a quick synopsis on where we are so we can kind of quickly move forward? Because it's a really good document. Done some hard work by Councilman Davis, Councilman Roberts, and Councilman Hinton.
Yes, we're about 2 policies away, and with the way we're set up with overtime and things of that nature, we're trying to get everybody under one umbrella, while also including the option for different departments to have their own SOPs, PGO in the police's case, and Public Works for their Public Works rules and regulations on a day-to-day operation. But we're trying to get everybody on the same page when it comes to overtime and making that work for everybody. But we met with department heads twice in the last couple of weeks, and I hope to meet maybe towards the end of this week or first of next week to hammer that policy out and make sure that we're all on the same page with that, and hopefully present this thing to council.
All right. I know, Councilman Hinton, you were working hard on it. Councilman Davis, gentlemen, I don't know if you had anything to add to Mr. Rose's update.
I just mentioned earlier that I think it's a very good document. I've had the opportunity to read through it and work with Joseph and Tony some with it, and I think it'd be a great help to employees to have their own manual, and they can refer to it as needed. They updated. It will be updated too as policies change, and these policies will be distributed to the employees so they can put it in their handbooks and so forth. I think it's a very transparent thing for the city to have, and I'm looking forward to us getting this adopted.
Yeah, I want to echo that from Dr. Hinton. I picked up the ball with Councilman Roberts early on, and with Dr. Hinton's expertise in personnel over the years and his job, he took the ball with Councilman Roberts and ran with it. And I'd just like to say thank you to you and Councilman Roberts for getting this product hopefully complete here in the next couple of weeks.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, Mr. Rose. Item 10 is public hearings. We have none on the agenda. Item 11, city administrator's business. Mr. Higginbotham.
That's right, I have no additional business tonight.
Item 12, departmental business. I see none on the agenda. Item 13, public comment. We have one citizen signed to speak, Mr. Jody Jobson.
Thank you, sir. I'm Jody Jobson. I live at 1534 Bellwood Lane, Northport. And I may be getting the horse ahead of the cart, but the 1-cent sales tax will benefit Northport citizens and everything. But what I'm here tonight.
Wait. I need you to say that again.
What?
What you just said.
1-cent sales tax, Jody.
I couldn't say it again if I wanted to. It's
Oh, I'm sorry.
gone through that
Well, I
way.
think we got it on record, though.
Yeah, keep it there, buddy.
Yes, sir.
But right now, I'm asking all of Northport, citizens, council, merchants, let's find a place for our kids to play. We've got a 41-year-old baseball field down there that's in better shape than it was 2 years ago, but it's terrible. There are drains, The potholes, there's a sinkhole on the bank back there the city needs to go look at because it's gonna engulf that man's house that it's behind. But if we pass the 1 cent sales tax, we can earmark for recreation. We can find land and build a modern baseball complex, softball complex, soccer complex, all in one. You know, and I said it years ago when I started talking, when I was that age, the parents, the citizens, the city of Northport built Northport Community Center. We had a community center and a ball field, and that's where every kid in town went. Now, it's in the middle of Lurleen, so they moved it down to Kentuck, called it Kentuck till Warrior came. They've had they've had as high as 1,100 and something kids playing, and that's in that park down there. Few unfortunate things happened and it dropped down. This year they've got 615 and they're exploding. There's nowhere, you can't get enough games in, you can't get enough people. I think that the city could, I know your budget's made, but somehow try to find some way to help get this safe enough for our kids to play until we can take a portion of that sales tax, designate it, and find a field, find an acreage that will survive for another 41 years or 100 years, and build a nice recreation complex. Call it whatever you want to. Warrior baseball's gonna be there. You can have the girls softball, and we're missing out. If you've never seen the tournaments that these kids have in South Haven and all around that they're picking up, you're missing out. I mean, it's unbelievable the amount of money they spend at these tournaments for their kids to play. You've got places to eat. You'll have people eating, staying 2 or 3 days in a hotel, spending money. So it's a thing to think about. But right now, let's help get this Warrior baseball back in tip-top shape and look for the acreage and build the park and build 8 fields, 10 fields, whatever we can afford, float a bond issue, use for the 1 cent sales tax, part of it.
Can I, and I don't want to cut y'all, can I put you on a little small committee that you do that?
Well, I guess so.
All right. Here's what I need you to do. If you are strongly asking the city council to strongly consider increasing the sales tax and maybe a portion through parks and recreation improvement specifically with a new baseball complex, I wouldn't mind having you on a committee just as a citizen, if that makes sense.
That's fine, but I also like to see you spend some, Jeff's done a good job on retail. We need a manufacturing committee. We need to have and bring some manufacturing in here, because retail comes and goes. You get manufacturing in here and you've got permanent jobs and people coming in. So there's a lot of different things that we can look at. But right now, yes, we need to, and I invite each and every one of you to walk down and walk over Warrior baseball and see the changes that have been made and the improvements that's been made in a year. I mean, these guys have sat out there in the winter and redone and outlined and all that, but the drains are terrible. They're stopped up going to the river somewhere or wherever it goes down the streets. And I'm sure we can dig out a hole, a drainage ditch down the side to get it to the pipe. But I'd ask you to go down there and look at it. Go down there and look at the sinkhole that's down there, because you don't know what it is and I don't know what it is, and it could be gone. So thank you for your time, and just want to say y'all have done a great job on this. I never thought I'd say that, but you did.
You did, and we have it on record. Jody, you want to repeat that? Thank you. Yes, sir.
Jody, I want to add to that. What you've said is exactly true, in my opinion. Northport could really benefit from a sports complex. There's so many sports complexes all over the South, all over the country, and the cities really thrive by having those. Kids definitely need somewhere to play. And we're not talking about just baseball. We're talking about girls softball, various things too. I know at Kentucky right now, I think girls only have one field.
Yeah, it's on.
And I would love to see that happen. As a former coach and as father of 3 girls, I get that. And not only just for baseball, but for softball, various things. Talking about retail, though. With retail, sports complex drive retail. There's a lot of different places that would love to come and be a part of something like that. You got to have the land, of course. You got to have the money, and it's good that we're talking about this because I struggle myself with the 1 cent sales tax. I see a lot of pros, I see a lot of cons to it. I get it, but when you put stuff like that together and you rally the citizens behind it and say, okay, I know we're gonna do this, or we may do this, or whatever it may be. If we have that additional funds, citizens can see that we want to put it back in the community. We want to put it back into the children. We want to put it back into whatever it may be, where they can see, and they can see the progress, and they can see something and be proud of the place they live. So I appreciate your comments, and I think what Jay said about forming some kind of committee, you being on that, I would love to help. Anyway, just wanted to say thank you for bringing that to the attention, and I hope everyone here, not only the council, but everyone else sees the importance of recreation for kids. Thank you.
Para would be a big part of this too, I would say. Planning and financing.
I think like Mr. Jobson and Jeff alluded to, when you look at the vehicle that is para, in my opinion, a little biased, but I'll just say it, it's more of a cost-effective vehicle as opposed to breaking away and starting your own, i.e. school system. Can you imagine if you started your own school system? Yeah, but it would take a whole lot of money. Same thing with Park and Rec. But I do think if you look at a plan, trying to put some things together like Jody described, just baseball, a nice baseball complex, a girls softball complex, maybe add some retail in the front of it. You already got a captive audience of parents right there. So there's some options, and Park and Rec is going to be huge at this when you look at citizens wanting to see their dollars back into the community. Maybe let's do a CPI, Community Parks Initiative. Everybody gets a small pocket park. You know, who wants it? Ain't that right, Jeff?
Who wants it?
Yeah. But yeah, yes, sir, Councilman. That will be hopefully part of that plan. Thank you again, Jody, for your comments. Thank you. Item 14, Mayor and Council members' business. I'll start with Mayor Aaron.
Yes, thanks, Jay. I have something that I've been working off and on with the group of Birmingham that deals with developing areas that would benefit cities. And we are all very interested in the retail that we have coming. Most of it is coming out 43, 69, out 82. But our little jewel down on the river seems to be struggling with that. I had the pleasure of talking with and being introduced to a group from Birmingham who does this all over the country, who takes these areas and develops them. They're very involved with how to take blighted areas and improve them, how to get grants, how to work with the cities in order to improve those areas. And that is a gem that we have got to do something with. We all promised that 2.5 years ago, or a year and a half, 2 years ago. We all promised that. That downtown area is dear to my heart because I was on the council when that was developed. And it has turned out to be just a very special place. I hear people all the time tell me they love to come to Northport and park and walk up and down and do whatever they like to do. But we do have an area that needs to be addressed, and I think we've all floundered with what to do. Well, this company wants to come and work with us. They want to work with a strategic plan to help us identify the things that we need down there, how to go about getting those things that we want down there. And what I'd like to do at this point is to give us time to work on our ordinances and to see if we are in a position to move forward with that area downtown. I'd like to see us put a moratorium on any kind of building from Lurleen east to our city limits line, from the Black Warrior River north to MLK, for a period of 6 months. And during that time, we can work with this group and let them start helping us plan a better part of development for that downtown area.
All right, let me throw this in, and I appreciate the comments, Mayor, and I totally agree. That area east of Lurleen, we've got to get a better plan in terms of, and I'll go ahead and say it, Riverside needs to be moved with somewhere else. Kids duels, kids justice, and maybe that's part of a 1 cent. I don't know. Maybe you can move
Include
Riverside.
Matthews in that
Include
also.
Matthews too. Yeah, all of it. I mean, just all that. We need another school, a facility for Riverside and Matthews, and open it up for some real nice development and help clean that part of our district up. So,
Well, that's what they do, and they will be willing to come in and help us with a strategic plan in order to make some of those things happen.
all right, Mayor. I guess we're not having a full council, Mayor. I do want to say that if it pleases Mayor and Council, let's look at that and maybe work with your office and maybe work with staff and Bruce to see what needs to go into placing a proposed moratorium, because we may have some things in the hopper almost getting ready to jump off, and we don't necessarily want to stop that momentum. But at the same time, if your office has been working with a group to strategically plan some things in that area, I think it's worthy of looking at it and seeing what they have and seeing how they can help us. So thank you, Mayor. Thank you so much. Thank you for that that's a good piece of news, and we appreciate it.
President Logan, can we not make a motion on a moratorium tonight, or?
All right, the thing with I'm saying this to kind of say to everybody, if we put a moratorium on there, how do we address what's already purposely being developed currently? That's the only thing. That's the only caveat. So you may have a couple things that may be ready to jump off and ready to be developed. And if you place the stop on it, that's the only hitch.
If they've already made their plans, I mean, if you know about it and none of the rest of us do.
No, you've got Mr. Todd Palmer. I think he's getting ready.
He's not involved in that. That's not east of Lurleen.
Okay, I was just making
West
sure
of
we
Lurleen.
clarified. Okay,
Yeah,
all right. Now that we've clarified it, so it's east of Lurleen, from the river
North to MLK.
to MLK. All right. So with that moratorium, that'd be a measure of council. So the mayor has recommended out of her office that we look at doing a moratorium for no more than 6 months in an area from the river north to MLK, east of Lurleen, to give. I'm sorry. I think there
will be
there
when
will
we
be.
get started with the strategic planning.
yes, ma'am.
We just need to get a means that when we can start talking with someone that has some ideas more than what we do and knows more about what's going on. Yes, there'll have to be some citizens
ma'am.
involvement.
This moratorium can be taken off before 6 months should something
Should be.
happen before.
Right.
Also, too, I'm sorry, Councilman Hawk. I
No, I
cut
was
you
just
off.
saying if it's, if we take the mayor's advice and we work with the group she's discussing, we place a moratorium tonight, then they come with us and they bring something or they help us and it's 4.5 months down the road, we can come back and lift the moratorium at that point and not have to wait the full 6 months. I wanna see things going as quickly as possible, so I don't wanna hinder ourselves with a specific time, but I don't wanna put it for a small amount of time and hinder us either for trying to get a plan of action together.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's a recommendation out of the mayor's office and Councilman Hogg, you kind of hit it, so I may ask you if you wanted to offer that for a motion, just because I think you were speaking on a couple items to give us a little bit of flexibility in regards to this proposed recommendation. You mentioned the motion that you may want to do or maybe add something to it to give us some flexibility.
I'll make that motion, President Logan.
All right, we gotta be specific, because in this case, again, just my opinion in that area, you need to be flexible with it. I know moratorium says no building, but I think in this case, like Jeff was saying, if you have the ability to do something prior to, you can kind of expire the moratorium. You just need to give yourself that flexibility, so. Go ahead, Councilman. What's your motion? I don't know.
Well, just anything that's not gonna be an enhancement to the area. Okay. Not the same old stuff that's down there now. We don't need another new car wash down there, or we don't need another, stuff
Yes,
that's
sir.
already down there. You got something big that comes along, yes, I understand that, a new restaurant or something like that, I understand that. But.
All right, so the motion will be to temporarily place a moratorium on building or development, or building and development. Up to 6 months. All right, for,
Ability to, lift the moratorium if a project should come that would mean, being built down there.
all right, let me work through it. So the motion is to propose a moratorium for no more than 6 months, to, one, create some citizen involvement, and two, to also allow the mayor's office to work with a group to look at some community enhancement, and also planning, and also some actual development, strategic planning in that development. So did I miss anything, ladies and gentlemen? Okay, that's the motion on the floor. Is there a motion to approve that resolution just as stated?
I'll make that motion.
That's a motion by Councilman Davis. Is there a second?